Everybody sucks. Hi, my name is Caprice. I've seen some of the clips going around. It's messy, 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 messy. So let's get into it.
I have felt disgusted looking at a fat body.
Well, it's unacceptable to be fat.
If you don't know who that man is, that is Myron from Fresh and Fit. He is highly problematic. He's kind of a like, that's a whole nother thing. I'm not surprised that he said that. I will say, as someone who has been overweight to obese their whole life, I have felt disgusted looking at my own body, and I was disgusted looking at morbidly obese women. I mean, like 600-pound life. I just be like, oh, how could you do that to yourself? A part of that was more of me being like, don't let yourself get there because you were on the way there.
I've been way skinnier than I am now, and I've been way heavier than I am now. Was I less valuable at one point in there? Well, I mean,
you don't look like you're crazy overweight, and you look like you might have some muscle under the fat. It's kind of cute. No, it's kind of cute.
When I see somebody who's 500 or 600 pounds, all I can think of is, why do they care so little about their health that they can do this, allow themselves to gain that much weight, knowing it's taken 20, 30, 40 years off their life?
All right, Greg Doucette, do we know him? Do we know him? I'm surprised that he would use such a heavy term of disgusted. You know, he's always like, I tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. But it's like, you don't need to tell someone they're disgusting if they're fat. A lot of fat people already feel that way about themselves. So it's interesting that that's his response. I don't feel what he said was necessarily wrong, because I just said I had that thought myself, but it's interesting.
You had a personal experience you wanted to share. You said you used to be overweight. Now you're
oh yeah, so I did an experiment back in like 2015 where I like bulked for like almost 2 years, and I got up to like 250 pounds, and then I dieted down. It took me about 7 months. I systematically did it, control my calories, tracked my macros, tracked my protein, carbs, fats, and systematically lost 1 to 2 pounds per week.
So you chose to gain up to 250.
Yeah,
you were
so
naturally
I've been in all
before,
spectrums.
yeah.
Like, I'm naturally skinny.
Yeah.
And that's where you lose me. This like is a thing that's very frustrating. I feel like for anybody who has not intentionally gained weight, who is not naturally skinny, whose metabolism is not naturally fast, Myron's experiment is like a non-experiment. Really, his experiment is, if a naturally skinny person gains weight, is it relatively easy for them to lose weight? The answer is yes, because if you're naturally skinny, you probably have to force yourself to eat all that food to get up to 250, then yada, 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 yada. So this like stuff is and I kind of actually think it's ironic that he brings that up as like, see, I've done it myself, you can do it too. If you don't choose to gain weight, that means you gained weight through unhealthy eating habits and or unhealthy coping habits. That is a lot harder to change than simply being like, oh my God, I ate all this food for all this time to gain all this weight. Now I can go back to eating the normal amount of food that I eat.
The reason why I use that example is that you can get fat and lose the weight if you know what you're doing and you have the knowledge and everything else like that. It's just
pause, not true. When I was 14 years old, I lost like 40 pounds. And I did that through skipping breakfast, skipping lunch, having salad for dinner, working out on a treadmill for an hour every morning, going to dance classes multiple times a week, doing sports like volleyball. I knew that exercising and not eating would help me lose weight. But what I didn't know, the way I was doing it wasn't the right way. And when I got to college, I didn't feel the need to restrict myself because, oh, I'm more active. I'm walking around campus. I don't need to walk on the treadmill every morning. I knew what to do in 2017 when I stepped on the scale and I was the heaviest I'd ever been. Eat less, exercise more, start skipping breakfast, start skipping lunch, start eating a salad for dinner, walking on a treadmill every day. That was in 2017. That's 7 years. I had a lot of unhealthy habits, and was it working? Yes. Was it healthy? No. Was it sustainable? No. It just doesn't work.
But you're passing judgment on somebody's body that you know nothing about. Now, on the flip side, what if I turned around and I did the same thing to you? You're talking about how fit and stuff that you are, but you're over there and you're small as compared to these other guys. So how does that feel if someone comes? No, because you said shame, right?
That's a little,
You said shame, right?
Yeah.
So how does that feel if someone comes up and they start shaming you for size? Like, come on, it goes both ways.
We're just in the first round. We gotta be careful about targeting each other too directly. You
I
definitely-
mean, I'm not offended. It's fine. He's
no, it
emotional,
goes
and that's
in
fine.
every direction.
He's up.
He's offended. I'm sorry, you know he's offended because he said, oh, he's emotional.
Jacked men are more attractive than fat men.
So I think when fat people look at the mirror and they say, oh, I like that, that's coat, man. No, you don't. They say that to try to bring themselves up. But the reality is most of the time when you're fat, you look in the mirror, you're like, damn, I really let myself go.
Not every
You're like,
fat
you know
person-
what? It's not that much of a priority. So fuck it.
You know what it is? It's because that we can't do it. Like Myron and I can't see our own fat body and be like, oh my god, I look amazing, I love it. No, let me just say, I'm a cute bitch. Like, you can't tell me anything, I'm a baddie. There are people with bigger bodies who genuinely like their body, and that's a good thing.
Positivity movement is problematic.
And if you genuinely love how you look, great, but you can't ignore your health. Being someone who's overweight, I've been fortunate enough not to have any extreme complications other than like, knee pain and stuff like that. But I know people that, that are my size or bigger and they have cholesterol problems, heart problems, diabetes. I have none of that. So the body positivity movement becomes a problem when you hide behind the shield of, oh, I should love my body, da 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 da. Great, but you have to be healthy too. You can't ignore your vitals. You gotta check yourself on the inside.
I have to say it, vitals. Vitals. When I was damn near 230 pounds, my vitals were A-okay. There are literally people online who are 300 plus pounds, who are in their early 20s, and their vitals are A-okay. Your vitals, when you get to a certain size, it's more than that. Knee pain, back pain, issues sleeping. Your vitals are not informative enough. If you really want to pursue health and fitness, I strongly encourage you to avoid extreme influencers. And although Greg Doucette helped me so much during the pandemic, I would, after watching this, I would have to say he is an extreme influencer. Honestly, I don't think anybody on the fat side was extreme. None of them were saying body positivity is absolutely perfect. The biggest guys on that side, I felt like, were very middle ground, actually. All that to say, just be very careful about who you're following online, whether you're on the fat side, you're on the fit side. If you want to watch the whole thing, link is in the description. If this has now inspired you to start working out and you're a plus size girl or boy, go ahead and check out my guide to working out. And if you're wondering about me and my journey, you can check out my recent weight loss video about how I was finally able to lose weight. And that's all I got. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.